Welcome, guys. It's Too Generic here with Cam and
Rich,
what's up, bro? How you doing?
good. How are you?
Doing all good. We were texting each other last night about a pretty solid UFC card. You know, the names weren't like full of all household names, but I still thought there were some dogs.
Yeah, that the Strickland fight was solid. I thought it was really close. I thought you could have given it either way to Duplessis or Strickland.
Right.
But
It did seem like a draw, and I feel like traditionally I've always sided with champions win draws. You have
yeah,
to beat the champion. Like
yeah,
that's something I
fight.
really subscribe to with the UFC. You have to beat the champion to be the champion. And Duplessis had a lot of damage, like more visible damage. Like he had the swollen eye before Strickland got cut. But that big cut in the middle of the fourth, like just opened it up, and then I think just kind of decided it for the judges with all
and,
that.
and I think Strickland was saying that he got that cut from a headbutt.
Yeah, I
And I,
think it might have been from the headbutt.
and I didn't even see when the headbutt was. Maybe it was somewhere in the middle rounds, maybe the third or fourth round. He got a headbutt. I didn't even really see it. They didn't show it on the broadcast either.
They might have headbutted twice.
Mm-hmm.
I know one was in a punching exchange, and I think the one that cut him was more when they were clinched.
Yeah.
Could be wrong on that, but I think there was a headbutt prior, like while they were throwing, maybe second round, third round. I think they by an accident swung, missed, and they both like collided heads the way they were lined up.
And I thought it could have been 2-2 going into the fifth, and I thought Strickland definitely won the fifth round.
Mm-hmm.
They were throwing everything in that last minute or so. They were just throwing wild stuff.
And the thing is, the Strickland's always got a gas tank.
Yeah. But then we saw Duplessis, earlier in his career, didn't really have the gas tank, or he was finishing fights quick. Even in the Darren Till fight, he didn't look great, but Darren Till looked so bad that he still was able to beat him. But
right.
We saw he had that nose surgery, and I think he's obviously worked on his cardio. But it was impressive from Duplessis to go all 5 rounds with Strickland. And Strickland, he's a guy who's gone 5 rounds multiple times in his career, so we knew he could go all 5 rounds.
Right. But yeah, Duplessis, he doesn't even seem as skilled. Like as you're watching it, right? You're like, This is clearly not better than Sean Strickland, but like. He looks possessed almost sometimes.
And then he has those blitzes too.
He's got what?
He's got those blitzes. He just blitzes you.
Oh yeah.
Like he did with it.
And I will say, like, the only way to beat Sean Strickland is you can't beat him with traditional stuff because he does the Philly shell boxing. So like that is the most defensive stance you could possibly do in boxing. And maybe not in MMA, but the way Sean does it is really good. But, like, that's how Floyd Mayweather fights. So you have a guy who is counterpunching, worrying about defense, trying to just snap the jab and get his points. Like, to fight a guy like that who is just a perfectionist and he knows every single thing, if you punch a right hook, he's got something for it. He's got a block for everything you're going to throw. So Duplessis has to throw these kind of sloppy, weird, looping overhands and everything else to try to mix it up, because if not, Sean Strickland's just going to go like this the whole night.
He was going with the spinning back fist too, Duplessis.
Right, he broke out the spinning back fist a couple times. Even your homegirl, what's her name?
Bueno Silva. Myra
Bueno Silva threw a spinning back fist last night.
Yeah, she was getting cooked on the feet by Pennington though. That was rough.
She was. Pennington was too good.
Yeah.
But it just reminded me, those are kind of two similar fights, but I think with Dricus Du Plessis, he's just too strong and too powerful. Like, you see his biceps, he's got like the world's biggest veins coming out of his arms. Like, he looks like an action figure.
He's got to be on the juice.
He's got to be on the. Nah, that's an African king right there, bro. Don't sleep.
But don't tell Izzy that. Don't tell Izzy that.
Why can't they both be African kings?
Right. Well, Duplessis is the only African king. That's what he said.
Trying to pit Africans against each other. This is not good. They should band together.
Right. They should band together at UFC 300 and fight. That'd be great.
Right. Yeah. That's what we really want. To be honest.
That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, I think it would be a good fight. I actually was surprised that the fight even happened because a long time ago, have you ever heard about three piece in a soda?
Yeah.
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 So the history behind three piece in a soda is Jorge Masvidal punched Leon Edwards behind the scenes, but it was on camera.
Yep.
So Jorge Masvidal jokes around saying he gave him a three-piece and a soda because he pieced him up. He punched him 3 times, caught him lacking. Leon didn't fight back or anything, but they had beef. In the UFC, Dana White said, I can't, put this fight together because it's going to set a precedent for the future. What happens when, McGregor wants to fight Khabib? He's going to throw another chair through a bus. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't want to incentivize that behavior because they did in the past and they seen it didn't go good. After the Conor fight, what happened? Beef was still on no matter what. If the fight was over, who won or lost, the beef was still on. People jumping into the cage, fighting. They don't need all that nonsense anymore. So what they did with Jorge and Leon was just dead the fight. The weird thing is that they actually made Sean fight Dricus du Plessis when they just fist fought 2 weeks ago.
Right.
At the UFC. Like, let alone that this happened behind the scenes at a UFC event with the Jorge Masvidal Leon thing, and Jorge Masvidal's team recorded it. It wasn't like some like WWE. The UFC is in there recording while they're about to fight, and it's just some backstage brawl, and it's some like thing. Like, this fight was not supposed to happen to Leon Edwards and Jorge Masvidal. So it begs the question, why did they make this fight happen? If they said an illegal fight happened, like they said what Jorge Masvidal did was illegal and they couldn't incentivize it, why did they then do that when I seen video of Sean Strickland literally dropping bombs on the top of Dricus du Plessis' head? Like, there were real punches thrown.
And why did Dana White seat him right there? Like, he sat him so close next to each other. And he said...
he sat him back to back.
But he said it was
Sean, Gilbert Burns, and then Dricus.
Yeah, and Dana White admitted that it was a stupid idea, so maybe it was his idea to do that. Maybe
it was just to get a little buzz, because they were already talking crap. Like, they were beefing,
right?
du Plessis and Strickland. So I don't know why he put them next to each other. It makes me question, like, is it a little narrative? Was this part of, like, building the fight because the card was bad? As we were saying at the start, like, these weren't, names that everyone knows necessarily unless you're a UFC diehard. So was this to spruce up the fight a little or what? Because according to Dana, this wasn't supposed to happen unless they need Dricus du Plessis to win this belt, and they're like, we have to make him fight Sean because the next fight is Dricus and Izzy for the belt, who's the King of Africa belt. Like, that's like, they need that fight to happen. So this fight needed to happen, so they couldn't call it off. I wonder if Sean thought in his head he got tricked. Like, he was like, if I fight du Plessis, they'll never make me fight du Plessis.
Right. But
because that's what Dana White said. Yeah. So like, it was like a reverse.
So it was like it helped build the fight, or Dana White thought it was going to help build the fight. So he had to do that. Some trick up his sleeve.
Yeah, something to spruce up the fight. But yeah, they ended up still fighting, and I think it was good. I really do. I think Sean would have won if he didn't get that cut.
Yeah, because it just
cut just got too gross. Like, at one point he looked like Braveheart, and he had all like face paint, like like it was covered. Oh,
it wasn't a visual. It wasn't a good visual for the referees.
No, I actually was worried in the middle of the fourth. I was thinking, I'm like, if this doesn't get stopped, like if Sean doesn't win or du Plessis doesn't win, it might be a doctor stoppage.
But also, du Plessis' eye was starting to, close. It was starting to almost after like the second round. So
and that's what I'm thinking too. Is like, I thought Sean was going to really win this fight with a closed eye on du Plessis, but he just wouldn't stop. Like, he just kept going forward, applying pressure, throwing nonsense. But like, eventually he started connecting with some nonsense. He started, as I told you, what was he going to do? wrestle him every round a little bit, at least to show he could get a takedown and to have the threat of a takedown to keep Sean's, stand up a little more honest where he'd have to guard the takedown. And that's what he did. Sean couldn't handle it. Every single time, Dracus, took him down. Sean did get back up relatively quick, so that's a good thing. You don't want to see him just be held down to the mat the whole time. But I knew Dracus always had the takedown, no matter what.
But he stuffed those 2 takedowns in the 5th round, but the previous 4, it was all, he made it look so easy taking him down. But He didn't really do much with it. Like you said, Strickland was able to get up pretty quickly after he took him down.
Mm-hmm. Even though it's not Sean Strickland's game, I guess it used to be in his earlier fights. If you watch, like he used to scrap and roll around on the ground. Now he's just a spar guy. He spars you for 25 minutes. If he could piece you up during the sparring session, then he's happy with it. But he's just not going to get his ass beat. Like that's just the way he kind of fights now. But I did think Strickland actually had some openings to take Dracus du Plessis down because Dracus was a little bit tired, a little bit sloppy. He had one eye, and some of his stances, like he got too aggressive, and he knew that Sean would never take him down, so he wasn't scared of the takedown. And his footwork and his positioning sometimes was sloppy. I thought easily Sean, if he wanted to, he could have shot for it and landed a takedown.
Right. And
but
Sean,
that's here or there. Sean wants to stand and throw. Plus, he's got the bad knee as of a few years ago.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it is mainly. But yeah, I guess his knee is completely messed up. Like the same way Usman can't run and all that stuff on both knees. I think Sean has one knee that's just completely messed up. Like he tore his ACL on it, and he's got a few other things like arthritis and
it was
rough.
It was a torn patellar tendon when he had a motorcycle accident, I read.
Oh, yeah, torn patella tendon. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And that's even worse. That's the one going, like, from your hip to your ankle, like, I believe. Like, that's holding your whole leg together.
Right.
So he messed that up, and that's why he's so stiff, and that's why he can't wrestle like that. I told you. I was like, bro, he had a bad leg injury a few years ago. No one really knows about it, and they never talk about it. But if he faces a wrestler, it's going to come into effect. But instead, who has he been fighting? So it doesn't matter. Izzy and what's his name? Poatan.
And then he just fought that other guy that got him the title shot. I forget his name.
Oh, what's his name?
The guy, he had a finish in the first round. And then he fought Strickland because they were trying to get really quick. And then Strickland finished him because they got second or third round, and Strickland was just piecing him.
Oh yeah, Abus.
Yeah,
Abus, that's his name. Yo, Abus was set up. He was supposed to whoop Sean's ass that night, right?
That's what everyone was saying.
No. He was supposed to whoop Sean's ass that night.
Oh, it was
like
Vegas?
Sean, not even Vegas. They set it up thinking in advance. Abus is so much better than Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland's just going to pass the torch. He can't handle Abus.
Yeah.
And he whooped his ass.
He
really did. They were trying to prop Abus up. They were trying to get him a quick, how they're doing with Chimaev. He fought Usman really quick. He fought Burns and Usman, but he didn't really fight in the UFC for too long. Nobody fights their third fight against Usman in the UFC. You know what I'm saying? Abus was trying to skip a couple steps, jump the ladder. And they were like, yeah, Sean Strickland, he's a top 5 guy at 185. You beat him, now you're top 5. Now you're a title guy. Now, you're a headline.
They had O'Malley fight Petr Yan, who was number 1 or 2. And then watched it at the poke in the eye to Pedros Munoz, and he was 9th then. And then they just shot Petr Yan, who was either number 1 or 2 at the time. He won, and then he won the title later.
Yeah, so. And I think that's what it was. Because, if you look at Abus, the dude's built. He's huge, too. He was bigger than Sean. And, he should have tore Sean up. He just didn't have it.
He gassed out really quick.
Yeah. They say everybody that fights Sean and, spars with him, I heard a few people say this because I watch, I listened to Sean Strickland's podcast with Chris Curtis. sometimes, not like religiously, but I'll tune in. I of course listen to Chael, and then I also listen to what's his name, the homie, Schmo.
The Schmo, yeah.
The Schmo. I like Schmo and Helen, his girl Helen Yee.
Yeah.
So I'll watch them on YouTube or podcasts or like anything. Like I'll listen to little sound bites and stuff. And where was I going with this?
You were talking about, I don't know.
Oh, fighting Sean. I spaced real quick because I was about to take it to another level.
Big tangent.
But Sean Strickland, apparently fighting Sean once is the most impossible fight of your life. Fighting Sean a second time is an easier fight that you could most likely win. They say because you're going to go in there and have a different strategy, and you're going to learn what works and doesn't work against him. And he just has the most awkward strategy in the world. No one in UFC, or MMA, I should say, fights like Sean Strickland. No one fights like a boxer. No one stands straight up and just throws these weird little cheap leg kicks that barely look like they do anything because he doesn't wind up. He just throws it like a karate kick. Like he just snaps it. He doesn't like roll his hips. He doesn't do anything like that. He just snaps a little kick and then he holds his little Philly shell. No one knows how to beat it in MMA for the most part unless you could take him down, but good luck because he's Tarzan. Like he's made for this. Like Sean Strickland's a scrapper. As I'm saying, he's got a bad knee. Doesn't mean he can't fight and can't defend himself, but I just think that was the weak point that you wanted to attack if there's a game plan. But yeah, everybody says nobody beats Sean Strickland. If you come to a gym or Sean comes to your gym to train, he's going to beat the shit out of you the first day and you're not going to know how. Like the punches come from weird angles, his feints, the way he stands there. Also, if you rush him, like he kind of stands straight up, which most people don't do. So he like keeps his head up. He rope-a-dopes really well. He does a lot of stuff to like ruin whatever you're gonna throw, which most people throw traditional punches. 95% of fighters fight traditionally, and he's the part of that 5% that knows how to stop the 95. So,
and we saw that with
this. And Drake has beat him first try, which is impressive.
And he really knocked Izzy off his game plan too. Izzy couldn't get anything off then.
You seen Pereira taught him how to land his punches.
Yeah.
He said you gotta roll with Izzy's left. You gotta roll with it. You gotta take it. He goes, that's the only opening is if you allow yourself to get hit. But of course you gotta eat it. Try to block it as best as you can and roll with it and then punch with it at the same time. And I watched the video on it. It makes sense, but like, damn, that was the secret to beat Izzy. Just let him hit you with his left, and then his footwork's messed up. He punches. I guess something with his footwork is different. It's interesting.
Pereira would know.
Yeah, right. Pereira would know. Guy beat him 3 times. But
right.
Let's move on to the NBA. While we're really here, and this week. We don't have to do a trade machine because the NBA did it for us. Pascal Siakam sent to the Indiana Pacers. How you feeling about that?
I guess it seems like he's supposed to stay in Indiana. There have been talks about him, signing a contract with them. But to me, that's a lot of picks to give up 3 first-round picks. I don't know. To me, that's a lot. For Siakam, I think he's a very good player. I just think kind of like the Gobert thing when the Timberwolves gave up 5 draft picks for Gobert. It just seems like a lot to me. But
so I'm going to take a different stance on this. I think the 3 first-round picks, like in my head, right, Siakam's a free agent, right? So this feels a little bit – I'm going to contradict myself by the end of this tangent, which – is normal. So what I think when I see this, when I know the guy is going to be a free agent in 4 months, by April the season's over. 3 months. April's over, season's over. Raptors don't make the playoffs. Siakam's off, right? Then he could choose where he wants to go in unrestricted free agency. Pacers trade Bruce Brown, 3 first-round picks. And one other player, right?
Well, there was Kyra Lewis was in the deal.
Kyra Lewis was coming from the Pelicans so they could dump salary so they could be under the tax.
Yeah.
But they also, I think, had to give a second to the Pacers in this trade. Like, the Raptors get Kira Lewis, the Pacers get a second-round pick, and I think it's the Pelicans basically don't get anything back. I believe they'll get a player eventually. It'll probably be James Johnson, and then he'll get waived. Something like that.
And I think they signed a 10-day with the Pacers again.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Well, I think that something with the roster spot is messed up. The Pelicans they can't get zero back in a trade. That's like illegal in the NBA. So they have to get something back. The paperwork, I guess, hasn't been fully filled out yet, but the trade is, it's in the process of working. There just has to be something coming back.
Right.
So that we don't know yet. But taking me off a little bit of my tangent, but to get back on, Carmelo Anthony screwed the Knicks by basically saying, like, trade for me now, and I want to get to the Knicks this season. And it was very short-sighted of the Knicks to trade everything that they got. They had a great team built for Carmelo Anthony. All they needed was him to plug in and be the perfect power forward. But what did they do? They got greedy. They got desperate. And 3 months before the season ended, when they would have got him in 3 months, they gave up picks and players, sent it to the Nuggets for a guy they were getting in 3 months, guaranteed.
Right.
So, and it screwed the Knicks because they weren't a good team. They weren't the team that Melo thought he was joining. They weren't the team the Knicks promised Melo to join. Everything got messed up because now there's a watered-down version of the team to land a player that was going to come regardless for free. So my question is, could Siakam have just joined them in free agency in 3 months? Was this his number one ideal landing spot, or did he have to get sold on Indy through them making this trade and making that type of commitment that he knows he's going to get a max deal during free agency this year?
Well, I don't know. I think the Raptors at least wanted to get something for him.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean if the Pacers knew that Siakam was coming to them regardless, let the Kings trade for him. Let anyone trade for him. And then in 3 months, your opponent got weaker. Whoever trades for him, the Kings, the Celtics, whoever would get him, you know what I'm saying, is now weaker because they traded for him, and then you get him for free anyway. Like, that's the one thing I have. If Siakam, and if the rumors are true, they're saying Siakam was going to go to Indy no matter what in free agency. He wants to play with Tyrese Halliburton, yada, yada, yada. So that means they got played. That's the way I see it.
Right.
The flip side of it is they're first-round picks, but if Indy wants to be as good as they want to be, those first-round picks are in the 20s and late 20s. Right. Now the Raptors got 3 late 20 picks. If the Pacers are going to be good for the next couple of years, which they look like they will be, if you re-sign Siakam and you keep Halliburton, I don't care who else you put around them, they're going to win some games. They're not going to be scrubs.
Yeah, you got your 2 stars there.
Yeah, you got your 2 stars, and then you got Miles Turner, who's been there forever and does his stuff. You know, he protects the rim. He's a little soft and lazy sometimes, but he could also space the floor. He's not a knockdown three-point shooter, nor is Siakam, but they're both threats, which is huge. Like, Zubac isn't a threat. I love Zubac, but, if he could even knock down a 3 at 32%, that changes the Clippers' offense, like, in a big way.
Yeah.
Just to have that little threat that he could pop a 3, but he doesn't, so he doesn't have that threat. With Miles Turner, you do. You have a rim runner, a guy who catches lobs. He could jump really high, great hands, block shots, hits threes, and now he's doing less with the ball than ever, which is really good. He's a play finisher, not a playmaker. So I really love the situation that Miles Turner is in, and hopefully he works harder for Siakam too, because Siakam works. Like, if you look at Siakam's minutes over the past couple of years, he's led the league in minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He's that type of player. Like, he's out there no matter what. He doesn't miss games. He doesn't miss time on the court. The coach leaves him in. Nick Nurse just used to ride him forever, 40 minutes a game.
Those Tibbs.
On top of it, he's a transition guy. Pascal Siakam is third in the league in transition points. So you have a guy who now runs and like really fill the lanes, running the floor for Tyrese Halliburton and Nembhard, which is another really good guard.
And the Pacers love to run. I mean, they have
to run, and you got a guy now joining your team third in transition. So
yeah, have to be one of the top teams in fast break points. I mean, they love to run with the ball.
I'd have to look into it. They might be top 5 for transition.
I would
guess Siakam's third in transition as a player. I forget the team stats.
Right.
Hold on. Yo.
What happened?
You wouldn't believe it. I had the intro on a loop.
What, for this 26 minutes?
I think it might be 26 minutes of a loop.
Oh. Well, I've seen you the whole time. I saw the loop.
So you seen me? All right, because I opened up YouTube. Oh, no. It's good. It's good. I wanted to check just in case. It's good. We're good.
Yeah, I saw the loop for 30 seconds.
When I clicked the link, it brought me to the first second of the recording. It didn't bring me to live. So I thought for a second, I'm like, bro, there ain't no way we talk for 24 minutes for nothing. And it was just on a loop. But
I was like, I can hear you for the 26
I know,
minutes.
that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at you. It normally would go by it, but I went on YouTube to see any comments or anything. So,
all right.
Oh yeah, hey, what's up, Top Shot, Hot Shot? Hey, fellas. He's just saying what's up. We might actually do a fast break at the end of this show. We might fill one out because we did one last week. We're not going to spend too much time on it like we did last week. We spent like 40 minutes on Top Shot last time, but we'll probably touch on it close to the end. What'd you say?
It was like 2 hours on Top Shot. We probably spent almost all the podcast on Top Shot.
Maybe it was almost 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half or something on Top Shot. Because I feel like what we were talking about coincided with what Fast Break had to do that day. And like, I forget what that was. But we were talking about top scorers and stuff, and I think that's what it was.
Yeah, we started off with Fast Break, and then it just kind of went into Top Shot.
Oh, yeah, it went into Top Shot.
Yeah.
We'll stick with Fast Break. We won't go too deep into Top Shot anymore.
All right.
That'll be another episode. But, I think the Siakam trade and, of course, the OG trade are huge. Like, if you think about it, it's just the Raptors. It's like they're disbanding, and, like, everyone's kind of joining a new team.
Yeah.
I know Scotty's going to stay, and they're going to rebuild it and stuff around him. But it's kind of crazy how you took a team that wasn't even, like, playoff viable right now with Siakam and OG that were on the Raptors. You send OG to the Knicks, you send Siakam to Indy, and now Indy's a playoff team guaranteed, and now the Knicks are a playoff team guaranteed. But when they were together, they weren't guaranteed the spot because I think there was too much overlap with their skill sets.
Right.
Like they really are. So they're not the same exact player. Siakam has a little bit more ball handling than OG and stuff. But for the most part, they want to play defense. They'll hit a set shot, and they're going to hustle. Like, they're going to pass the ball. They're not going to be, selfish or anything. But they both don't space the floor and complement each other the way they should.
Yeah, they want to get their buckets.
Yeah.
And they lost, and the talk about the Raptors, too, they lost, we talked about Anunoby and Siakam, but they lost Fred VanVleet to free agency, too.
Yep.
They've been their top players over the last 2 years now.
Yeah. And then Malachi Flynn, which I think was, like, he isn't really a star or anything like that. But, people had a lot of, I heard rumors that were, Fred VanVleet, when he leaves, Malachi Flynn's the guy of the future. He's the guard. They drafted him, and then they just trade him.
Then he took a backseat to Schroeder.
Right. Then he took a backseat to Schroeder. They never let him really run the offense and be the starting point guard and give him a shot. Now he's on the Knicks. He's behind Jalen Brunson, which he's not going to really get much of a shot either.
Right.
But I guess it's better than him, competing now with IQ. And then there's a whole nother thing where he's just, stuck behind Schroeder and IQ now.
And he's on more of a contender now too.
Yeah, he's on a contender. So maybe if, God forbid, anything happens, but, maybe he gets a little time and opportunity to show what he does in the NBA.
Right.
Because I like Flynn. I think he's a bucket. He doesn't really do too much else, but he can light it up sometimes.
And Clyde, evil Dante.
Right, evil Dante.
That
is the funniest meme ever when they put a picture of Dante and him next to each other and they're blonde and everything. They just look so much alike, but the eyebrows are just so sharp on Malachi Flynn.
Right.
He just looks like the evil twin. Yeah. And what else? So we got the Knicks trade. We already discussed that last week. We got Siakam. What's going to be next week's trade? Do you have any idea? Like, I think DeJounte Murray's been in a lot of rumors. He's been in so much rumors that I think it's actually Trey getting traded. Because if you look at the plus or minus on DeJounte Murray, he's +5 with Trey off the court. He's -5 with Trey on the court. That's a 10-point swing.
Yeah.
-5 is 0, and then +5. So that's a big gap into what he does when Trey's on and off. So either they think Trey is the one kind of messing Murray up, or it's vice versa. I just think that Murray's getting buried right now. And it could be Trey rather than Murray.
I don't know if I would want to trade Trae Young, though. I don't think you trade.
Because then you admit that you messed up with Luka, that you made the wrong trade, and then you dump what you got for Luka.
Yeah, I don't think you trade the face of your franchise like that.
I feel you, but hey, Jalen Johnson, he's the real deal. And Jalen Johnson is the face of your franchise, the Hartford Wolfpack.
Right, MIP. He's going to win MIP this year.
All right, let's get into the awards. Then.
I knew it.
You knew a way to trigger me.
Yep.
So that's your most improved player of the year. Is that a lock?
Man, I don't know if it's a lock. Him and that guy from Brooklyn are pretty close.
Yeah, that guy from Brooklyn,
That plays no defense.
He be locking up. I don't care what anyone says. Cam Thomas plays some defense.
Yeah. I don't. I don't know what Jacques.
Put a hand in between the pick and roll with the screen. He'll do a little defense. He'll hedge.
He's out there.
He's out there.
Out there on the right side of the court.
No, I really do feel like he's not as bad as a defender. It's not like Harden, like back in the day where he literally used to let people go by him.
Right.
I just think he's a 6'3" shooting guard, and there's bigger guards and bigger wings and stuff that he gets matched up on.
Or they're going to trade him.
And that might be a real thing. They might trade, maybe DeJounte Murray goes to the Nets, and they trade. And I don't think you're not going to trade DeJounte Murray without getting Cam Thomas back. So maybe he's on the Hawks.
That's a gross team. I don't know.
I know. That would be so disgusting.
That's crazy.
I don't want that. I don't want that at all. If I could choose any team for like Cam Thomas to go to, I would probably say I would like the Magic. I think that would be cool. I thought the Raptors were a cool blank slate team for him to go to, all defensive players, but it's not anymore. You have RJ and you have IQ. Those are guys that are more offensively skilled, and it loses the whole synchronicity of what I thought, Cam Thomas could go there, 4 defenders, and then you have Thomas, who's kind of acting as like Iverson. And you have defense built all around him, defense and shooters. And that, I think, could work in today's NBA, realistically.
Right.
People might not think it could, but I think CT is one of the few people who could have an Iverson-style offense and be successful.
The Magic team,
What?
him with the Magic would be pretty cool.
Magic would be really dope because, you don't really have like a traditional point guard. There's not the best spacing in the world there. You got a guy who's going to chuck up a three,
Mm-hmm.
Keep the defense honest, space it out, and he also hits them at a good clip. So, yeah, I'd say Magic. I really like the Raptors.
We talked about the Hornets with him and LaMelo.
Him and LaMelo, but these are all like East Coast teams. The more and more I think about it, like what teams? Let me see this. Western.
What if you put him on the Jazz?
I mean, on the Jazz, I'm really not too sure. I guess. I mean, you got Markkanen, you got Walker Kessler. I think that could work. Honestly, the Jazz could be a spot. But if I really had to pick, let me see. If I had to pick a West Coast team, I would probably say, hey, Warriors. You want the next Steph Curry. You want the next offensive 30-point a night guard and something to maybe build off of.
And they've been talking about trading everybody but Steph Curry. So
everybody but Steph Curry. You bring in CT, and then him and CT just light it up, and he passes the torch.
Yeah, you need somebody to score if you're going to trade away Andrew Wiggins and Klay Thompson and Kuminga and all those guys.
Right.
You need somebody to get buckets.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want Cam Thomas to go to the Spurs. I mean, he could. Like they don't actually have a guard that I'm really too worried about. But I don't know if Victor Wembanyama would like playing with him. Like,
yeah,
Wemby seems to be, especially from Europe, they play a lot more traditional set offenses. It's a little more slow pace. It's not just this run and gun. If I miss, it's all good because we're going to get back. They'll miss. We'll get the rebound, and we're just going to keep going and going. And we're going to play the numbers and just volume. I don't think Wemby operates like that.
And the Spurs also do a horrible job at getting Wemby the ball to begin with, and we know Cam Thomas isn't going to pass the ball. So
Cam Thomas passes the ball. Listen, pump the brakes a little bit.
Averages 2.3 assists per game, career high.
3 assists, but you got to understand, there's a lot of other guys who handle the ball over there. Dinwiddie averages like 6 assists, and then you got Dennis Smith Jr. Mikal Bridges handles the rock. I feel like there's like 6-7 guys who actually handle the rock for the Nets.
But Cam Thomas isn't out there to pass the ball. He's out there to get buckets, and that's all he does.
No, but Cam Thomas operates out of the pick and roll a lot. And he tries to hit Claxton on a short roll. But the problem is Claxton's terrible. Like,
he is. Yes.
I'm going to be real with you.
The
sports media loves Nick Claxton. Loves him. Like, a little bit too much. And the way they talk about him and all yada, yada, yada. Like, he does have some really good qualities. But offensively, if he catches off the roll at the elbow, I'm shook. Because he can't take 2 dribbles and get to the rim. Like, that's just not his game, really, unless it's wide the fuck open. If that lane isn't split by Moses himself, then Nick Claxton cannot just drive it through the lane. And then he fumbles. He doesn't know what to do with it. It's so ugly. And I just don't think that's the guy that you really want to run pick and roll with. And that's who Cam Thomas always runs pick and roll with, is him. It's just not good. He's 6'9", he's skinny, and he can't shoot, and he can't dribble. Like, Claxton's not a tall center either. Like, it's not like he's just a 7-footer and all this other stuff. He's 6'9", he's agile, he's quick on defense, he can pounce like a cat, but he just isn't good with the ball. And that's a big part of why, his assists are low. And he doesn't even pick up the hockey assist because Nick Claxton isn't finding anyone at the end of that role, So, I don't know. I just think his numbers are a little bit skewed. I also think he comes in off the bench and he's not really the offense doesn't seem to be run for him. I feel like there's a lot of plays ran for like Cam Johnson. You see him running off the ball and everything. And then when Cam Thomas catches, there's 8 seconds left in the shot clock. Everyone's like just spaced out and no one's cutting, no one's moving. And it just turns into this Cam Thomas at the left wing. What could he do? 8 seconds, 7, 6. It's just like he seems to get grenades. And if you listen to the JJ Redick podcast when he had Cam Thomas come on as a guest, that's what Cam Thomas said. They were like, oh, blah, 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 your rookie year, you were shooting like 40% from the field, which is terrible. And, you've shown great improvement and yada, yada, yada. And that's what he said. He said, I feel like I got a lot of grenades all the time. This season, last season, my rookie year, I get them. But especially my rookie year because Kyrie was out. Harden wasn't there yet. KD was dealing with injuries too, on and off. And they just had rookies in like Patty Mills and Seth Curry. And they really just weren't the best team. And sometimes at the end of the shot clock, they would just chuck it to the rookie. They would say, hey, give it to him. Kid says he wants to be a scorer. Says he's the future of this league. Give it to him with 4 or 5 seconds left. And then he had to, create with grenades. And it's hard to actually be consistent when that is what you're getting fed as a shot diet.
And he doesn't get consistent minutes either. If you look at his minutes, all over the place. If you look at
all over the place, people say, look at his play. He's got 8 minutes some night, or 8 points one night, and then 25 points the other. He's inconsistent. He's a hot and cold microwave scorer. But it's not the case because that night that he got 8 points is he played 17 minutes. And the 17 minutes were 3 minutes that got pulled. 3 minutes that got pulled. You can't get a rhythm that way. That's not a real way to play basketball. So at the end of the game, yeah, you could be a stat watcher and go, oh, yeah, eight points tonight. But he got played.
But 3 out of 4 games, he's played 31 minutes or more. So now
but when he plays, and if he ever gets 30 minutes and gets consistent minutes and can get a rhythm, it's 20 points or more every night.
Yeah, he scored.
He plays good.
He scored 23 or more in 3 out of his last 4 games. So.
Oh, I don't think I've even told you. So last night, obviously, Cam Thomas lit up the Lakers.
That wasn't last
2 nights ago.
Nights ago, yeah.
2 nights ago, Cam Thomas lit up the Lakers for 33 points. The Lakers were supposed to draft Cam Thomas at, I believe, 17.
Damn.
You know that, right?
I didn't know that, no.
The Nets weren't supposed to draft Cam Thomas. So Cam Thomas had a draft night promise from the Lakers, the team he grew up loving. He was a Kobe fan. And they promised him, let me see. Hold on a second. Cam Thomas draft.
So he had
who was the pick? I got to see. So, all right, 2021. I forget who it is. I'm completely drawing a blank right now. I'm sorry, guys. But don't worry. We're going to get this filled in right here.
Probably Matt.
Facts, I tell you. 22. That's where he was supposed to get drafted. He was supposed to be – instead he was drafted 27th by the Nets. But the Lakers drafted Isaiah Jackson at 22 and then traded the pick that night.
To the Pacers.
So, what?
To the Pacers.
And the Pacers, yeah. The Pacers traded to the Lakers for the 22nd pick last second and then took Isaiah Jackson. But that wasn't the plan going into draft night. It was to get Cam Thomas. So he feels very slighted by the Lakers. And it's like this huge thing now in his head that he's got beef with the Lakers because he's like, I grew up loving y'all. I'm the biggest Kobe fan in the world. I wear 24 because of Kobe. I wear Kobe's every night that I ball. I was made to be on the Lakers. Like, this was like written in like this was supposed to be my thing. And it didn't happen. So now he's on a vengeance.
He had to cook him then.
He had to cook him. But this comes with some even cooler news. Is he stayed in LA, is playing the Lakers today, and I'm going.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
So I found tickets for $6 each. And we're going to go up in the nosebleeds for $6. But then I'll try probably at halftime or a little bit before that. I'll try to work my way down in the lower levels.
No way.
But yeah, Clippers versus Nets are cheap, $6 each. And I'm like, for $6, I get to see James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook, and that's just on the Clippers. And like, that's three MVPs if you count Finals MVP. But 3 MVPs and then Paul George just on the Clippers alone, and then obviously the Nets have a decent squad, but mainly I want to go there support my guy.
And Cam Thomas is better than all of them.
And Cam Thomas is the best player out there. So I'm going to go with my jersey, and I'm going to wear my ain't shit funny bucket hat, and we going hard today in the nosebleeds for Cam Thomas.
He's going to get you some good tickets then next time.
Next time.
Next time he's in Cali.
Next time he's in Cali, he'll let me know. He'll hit me up and have some tickets on the side at will call. You know, I got it like that.
Like, yo, I got you with these tickets. No homo.
Got you with these tickets, fam. No homo. Game. You look great out there. No homo. Pause.
Oh, man.
Yep. So that's what we're going to do. The Clippers game is at 12:30 for me. So
yeah,
I can't wait. I'm excited. I've already been to Crypto.com Arena once this season, obviously for Christmas. I talked about it in previous pods. Went for Lakers versus Celtics. But now I'll be able to go Clippers versus Nets. And, you know, Lakers versus Celtics, or just Lakers tickets in general, to get into a Laker game, you're spending $100.
At
to
least.
get into a Clipper game, you're spending $5 each, basically.
Right.
And that's 20 how should I say this? 20 times, like 20 times more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm spending $5 or $100 to get in the same seat, but just if the Lakers are playing, it's $100, same seat, $5-6. So I might be a Clippers fan. Just might start going to games. This is my West Coast team.
How far is the arena from your house?
20 minutes.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, it's really close.
Wow.
And I think when the Clippers move to Inglewood, I'll be even closer.
Right.
It'll be like 10-15 minutes from me.
You should see
So
the
I'm
nose.
waiting on that.
And the nosebleeds at that arena looks ridiculous. They were showing pictures. They look so far away.
They did look far away. But apparently they're going to have that fan wall, which looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And then you get stuff from the Clippers if you cheer or something.
Yeah, they said they're going to try to do some facial recognition AI software and track people that are like actually cheering and stuff like that, which I think is kind of cool. A little. Yeah. At least they're not using it like James Dolan at the moment. You know, James Dolan has been banning people from the arena for over 10 years because he uses cameras and facial recognition.
Hmm.
You know, this doesn't sound like the worst thing that could be done with facial recognition.
Yeah.
So I applaud them for that. And they also stole that fan wall. There's no seats. It's just standing. It's like these little platforms that you stand on.
Hmm.
And they stole that from the LA Galaxy, the soccer team that's in LA. They built their arena, and they have a whole section that's just all that. And also, the Clippers are going to have a section. It's going to be fans only. So there's going to be a bouncer at this door, and then you can't get in with other team gear. It has to be Clippers. Like you can wear plain clothes. You just can't like go with a Celtics shirt and then think you're going to sit in that section. They're going to say, no, take that off, or whatever.
But it's cool.
So, what you said?
It's cool that they're giving back to the fans, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think it's cool. As corny and weird and kind of just like, you know, like futuristic and kind of weird as it sounds, like draconian, if, you know, people would say, but like, I think it's cool. You know, it's weird to get monitored and watched the whole time. Like, you're like something. And then are you like pretending to cheer to win things? You know, like I hope it just doesn't create fake energy. You know, it's just like that's weird and like kind of awkward and people are doing too much. But it should be cool. And I think if they really do something and I stay in LA, I might get season tickets for the Clippers next year or try to get them because I know the prices may go up since they're going to be at their own arena and it's not going to be as cheap as the Staples Center or Crypto.com Arena. So I'll have to look into it. But remember, I told you earlier this year that the season tickets for the Clippers were $350
Yeah, that's nothing.
for 30 games, 30 home games, $350. That's like $15 a game, not even.
Yeah, that's a great deal.
So I might do that next year, something like that. But we'll see how this first Clippers game goes. And I know Kawhi is going to be there, and he's staying with the squad. He did the extension recently. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kawhi did his extension. He also trademarked something called Clip Gang. That was like 2 years ago. So maybe he wants to do some brand deal, something like that. So you know Kawhi's there. Kawhi's locked in. He got a trademark. He signed for the next 3-4 years. He's going to retire in L.A. He's going to be an L.A. OG. He's from L.A. That's what he wants to do. I respect it. So the Clippers are going to be good. They're going to be cool and exciting, at least for the next 2 to 3 years. So that gives me some hope, and maybe I could have a West Coast team because I've never had a West Coast team. Born and raised Celtics fan, as we know. Then I started liking the Bucks because they traded in Paul Pierce, and then my boy Mikey was all rooting for this Greek guy that we heard got drafted, and we were watching. I remember we were watching the NBA draft live. We were like 13, 14 years old. We watched it. We've always loved basketball. Greek guy got drafted. We were all hyped because he's Greek, and literally just was a fan because he was Greek. Eventually, literally like just loving his game, everything that he does, and now he's one of the best players in the world, or the best player in the world, depending on who you ask. And it's so cool. But became a fan of the Bucks, and then now also Cam Thomas got drafted, and I'm like, this guy, I think he's going to be a star. Like, he slid to the 27th pick. It's a complete mistake. He's going to be a star, top 5 in his draft class when it's all said and done. So I root for the Nets too. I never have these West Coast teams. So now that I moved to Los Angeles, I can't root for the Lakers because, you know, I still bleed green. My heart's still green for the Celtics. So I can't just root for the Lakers. I can't be a Lakers fan. So rooting for the closest team, why not be the Clippers? Because the Clippers is like an FU to the Lakers too, you know, because they're inner city rivals. It's like Yankees, Mets, you know, Nets, Knicks. Any of the same city, those inner city rivals are always cool. So I think I might just be a Clippers fan for the West Coast team.
I'd be a Clippers fan with those ticket prices.
With those ticket prices too, they're taking care of the fans. Steve Ballmer, he's the man. Then you got the Bus family over here killing everybody, taxing, charging up the wazoo.
They're calling him Darvin the terrorist.
Well, why?
I don't know. They don't like Darvin Ham. Those Lakers fans.
I think the funniest meme about Darvin Ham is calling him Hot Pockets because his hands are always in his pockets, right?
Yeah.
And it's also hilarious because Hot Pockets have a flavor ham. Like cheese and ham Hot Pockets. Like there's pepperoni, there's ham flavor. You know what I'm saying? Like there's only a few flavors, and ham is actually a flavor of Hot Pocket. And the fact that this dude stands there all game with his hands in his pockets like he's cold, like he's standing on the block freezing.
He looks lost
Hot
up.
Pockets. That's the best name I've ever heard for him.
That's a good one.
Darvin Ham be at the grocery store like this. Oh wait, you can't see the deli. I was trying to put it where you can see the deli.
No, I can't see it.
Do it. Darvin Ham be like this. Oh, I knocked over my wall.
Oh.
You know what? Hold up.
Leave it like that. See how it looks.
Hold on. Actually, I have something for this. I've been working on something if I ever mess up on camera.
This is your captain speaking. We'll be experiencing some turbulence. Should last more than 10-15 minutes. Flight crew, please prepare for takeoff.
All right, we back.
Yeah.
We're back. I want to test out the technical difficulties thing. I actually haven't used that live yet, but I've been getting busy on Canva.
Mm-hmm.
How's it look? Does that look official?
That looked good. That looked good.
It look good?
This is your captain speaking. Will be
All right, I just wanted to do it again.
Yeah, and you were back in your seat right in time, like nothing ever happened.
All right, technical difficulties. I love it.
All was fixed.
Yep. Well, what should I put for the background? Here we go.
Shout out Larry David.
This is gonna be me today at the Clipper game.
You're gonna trip Cam Thomas?
How dare you? I would never. If anything, I'll trip who's guarding him.
Go trip Larry David if he's there.
It's actually funny that you said trip, and it was just a picture of Austin Reeves. You seen Cam Thomas dropped Austin Reeves?
And he pointed at him.
And he pointed. Thank you. I was just about to say. Dropped him and said, "Got him." Like, I'm telling you, did you see when he hit the 4-point play and then he got up and he went like to the fan, like to a camera? He was like he tried to guard me. Like, come on, hacking.
Different,
man, different. I'll tell. How many times have I been right about like a player like this though? Because it's not like I'm doing this for everybody. It's not like I'm out here and going, Delano Banton, he's gonna be the GOAT, top 5 guard in his draft class. Like, I'm not doing that for everybody. You know? Like, I don't miss. If I set my target, I don't miss. Even with Tatum. I feel like Tatum's my best example, other than Giannis. Giannis is like, but people don't know me from 10, 15 years ago, when Giannis was first starting out. But with Tatum especially, like you could go back on my old Twitter and see me tweeting about Giannis in 2013. But I think Tatum is the one that I did the most draft coverage on. I have a mock draft for Tatum that like actually put him higher than anyone else. I have screenshots of the mock drafts ESPN had, and they had Tatum 8th. I said Tatum was the best player in the draft class, and I was a nut on draft night. Like, I was crazy. He gets drafted 3rd by Danny Ainge. Everyone's saying they're overreaching. I had him 3rd. I had him going like I thought he was going to be a top 5 pick to say the least. Even if he slid 5th, I think it was like to the Kings. And I'm like, the Kings could use this guy. Like, anybody could use Tatum. He's an elite scorer. It was so obvious to me in college. And just, you could tell, like, what he was doing within Coach K's system, plus playing with outside the system. It was good. It was, like, you couldn't watch him and say, this guy's not going to be good. He's going to be a bust. I don't know who ever watched Tatum and thought that, but he's just got some elite moves. Like, there's times where he kind of looks like LeBron. Like a little bit, like he's just got these couple of moves where he just beats the defense. He's kind of got a way to drive by people, kind of like LeBron. He doesn't hook just like him, but he definitely, because he does like these long, crosses and stuff, and he covers so much ground that I feel like he does get a little bit of a hook off. I can't explain it really. I wish I could show like a ball or maybe like show like highlights and stuff. But his body movements and his mechanics remind me of how LeBron drives. And if you have that type of technique, you're going to get to the rim every time.
I just can't stand the step back threes. Does that much. It does it heavily contested at the worst moments in the game. Can't stand. I wish he'd go in the post a lot more. I think he has great footwork. And if he takes those turnaround, I don't know. I think that just makes a lot more sense for him to take it to the paint. Or just go in the post.
This is the year he should have tapped in the same way. Do you remember that year when Miami LeBron just started like shooting like 60% or higher? Like there was that one year he was like trying to shoot like 100% perfect games and stuff.
Yeah.
I know that was a minute ago, and that was probably like when you were first starting to become a basketball fan. But
that was
LeBron was like at the peak of his powers, striving for perfection. He was shooting incredible. He figured his entire game out. I think Tatum is actually in that right now, but he doesn't know it yet. Next year is going to be the scariest year we've ever seen of Tatum. Like, complete peak of his powers. This is the year he unlocked the post game to where it's elite, top tier, 0.1% of the NBA. No one's really better than him type post moves.
Mm-hmm.
Next year's when he uses it for real. This is the year where the team's too good. Why shouldn't he not try to limit test? Why shouldn't he put up that step back three? They're good enough. They're not going to lose.
I
You
just
know
wish they would start winning. That's the thing. I wish
Winning.
he'd start performing in the biggest games instead of taking those step back threes. And just
I guess so. I feel like, yeah, he's just not. He's not worried. There's nothing like. It's more of like a stress relief. But I'd rather him take these crappy step back threes, get him out of his system, figure out how to do it better for when the playoffs come. So in video games, like in League of Legends, they call it limit testing. When you're playing normals with not in ranked, and you do a crazy play, and someone's like, "What the fuck were you thinking?" You just say, "I'm limit testing. I'm trying to figure out what I can do and what I can't do."
well, enough with the limit testing.
Right? Enough with the limit testing. But that happens when the playoff starts, and then he'll pull out every tool that he sharpened all season, and then he'll have the best arsenal possible.
Let's take the short buckets and not the limit testing.
Yeah, I don't know. Him in the post is just too good. I love everything Tatum can do in the post, so I'm just going to continue enjoying watching the Celtics. Hopefully he does a little bit less, three-point hunting. Everyone else shoots threes on the team. He doesn't need the three-point hunt.
Yeah, definitely not. You need better 3-point shooters on that team too. So,
Would you trade? I want to ask you this. So I thought about this trade this morning. Would you trade Drew Holiday for Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter?
I don't know. I mean,
It would probably be like an end of the bench guy who you have to dump like just with Drew Holiday.
I don't know. I mean, you lose out on Holiday's defense. That's
Right.
and his veteran presence, his experience in the postseason. I don't know. I don't know if I would do it. I haven't seen enough of Drew Holiday either. I mean, as a Celtic,
Mm-hmm.
I think I like Holiday right now, though. I think I'll stick with Holiday. And plus, we have enough shooting. You don't really need to add that much more shooting. I'm fine with the shooting we have.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I don't know. That's a good question though. It's kind of a toss up to me. I wouldn't want to trade Drew Holiday, but I know you'd have to trade somebody like Drew Holiday to get players like Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter.
Right.
Some of those other bench guys, you got to trade a guy who's going to make more of an impact. But no, I think I'd stick with Drew Holiday for now.
So this would be the trade right here, pretty much. Something like this.
And who's that? Drew
Svi.
Holiday. Oh, Svi. Yeah, get rid of Svi.
It says it can't work, so the Kings would be taking $3 million too much, but there's probably a trade exception or something somewhere where they could accept it.
Right.
Or you could just adjust it and then throw someone else in.
Trade Cornette. Get Cornette out of here.
Like maybe you could slap in like a Trey Lyles for a Cornette.
I wouldn't mind Trey Lyles. He could shoot the three too.
So yeah, this actually works. So would you do this? Huerter, Monk, Lyles for Drew Holiday, Luke Cornette, and Svi.
I just don't want to get rid of Drew. I like the team they have now. I just wish they had more depth. I just wish they had more depth off the bench.
Okay.
That's the only thing. I wish they had another center like we were talking about last podcast.
Right.
But I don't know if I think the starting five is great, but I just think they need more. They just need some additions off the bench.
So what big would you want? Because there's only so much money, right? Because the Celtics cap is kind of messed up. So the top six get paid all the money. So it's like Horford gets like 20 million plus, and then everyone's above, or maybe it's only 10.
I'd love to have Andre Drummond off the bench.
We talked about that last time, right?
Yeah, I'd love to have Andre Drummond off the bench, play whatever, 15, 20, 25 minutes a game and just get offensive rebounds and easy putbacks. Because that's what
Yes. We were talking about the Bulls and getting that. So right now, you got, listen to this, 36 million Drew Holiday, 36 million Porzingis, 32 million Tatum, 32 million Jaylen Brown, 20 million White, 10 million Horford. And then after that, Pritchard 4, Cornette 2, Brissett 2, Keita 2, Svi Mykhailiuk 2, Banton 2, Lamar Stevens 2, Hauser 2. Everyone is on these baby-ass contracts, and so it kind of messes up the trade market because nobody else is going to be on a baby-ass contract that you want. The only person on a $2 million deal that's great in the league is Cam Thomas.
For real.
He's the only guy on a $2 million deal I'd want on my team. Like, for the most part, everyone else is a bench filler guy. No one is good making $2 million or less for the most part. Like,
I don't know. Someone's making
Kelly Oubre, maybe, because he's on the veteran minimum. But the Sixers aren't giving him up. They're trying to beat the Celtics. They're not getting rid of a scorer.
Yeah, I don't want Kelly Oubre anyway.
And you don't want Kelly Oubre anyway. So, like, you can't trade for anybody except if you look at, like we've said, Drummond makes little to no money, right?
2 years.
Paul Reed gets overpaid now, and he's not really like able to be traded for because he makes almost $8 million.
Yeah, Drummond's on a 2-year, $6.5 million contract. He's on the last year of his contract. He's an unrestricted free agent after this season.
Mm-hmm.
He's only 31, or he's only 30 right now. That's amazing. He's still really young.
All I know is Philly should make a move because you have $18 million with Marcus Morris, almost $12 million with Batum, $12 million with Rocco. And then you also have like $5 million with Furkan Korkmaz, who's an unrestricted free agent after this year. So like you could piece and part together some stuff, like $5 million from Korkmaz, and then $18 million with Marcus Morris. That'll get you $23 million, which trading for DeJounte Murray is about, it's like 24, 25. So you could trade those two in picks, and then you have Maxey, Murray, and then Embiid, and you still have Tobias Harris.
And Korkmaz has been asked to trade like multiple times too.
Yeah, he's been asked to get traded since the day he got drafted. So
yeah,
it's like it works out.
Right.
I think there's something there. Philly's gonna get a lot better, bro, and it's gonna be scary.
Mm-hmm.
Like in all seriousness, Philly is gonna be an incredible team. And then also, I think the Pacers may have another move too. There was way too much Jarris Walker rumors about getting traded. The rookie.
Yep.
And he was like, that name was just in too many like podcasts. I'm like, no other rookie is talked about being traded and all this other stuff. So I think there is something to it. There's something weird happening with the Pacers. I think there's another move. Who they get, I don't know. Like the better version of Buddy Hield and Benedict Mathurin is Zach LaVine.
And they've been talking about trading Buddy Hield too.
They have. I mean, he's another guy that's like been a trade token his whole career, really.
Yeah.
You kind of feel bad. Like these guys are just like little chips, little trade chips.
Yeah.
Let me see. Pacers and let's see, Bulls. I'll stream this one real quick. So we got LaVine, and then it would have to be Buddy Hield, Mathurin.
Trading Mathurin too. Ooh.
You're getting LaVine.
I know. He's hurt again though.
Yeah, but it's a fake injury, so he doesn't play, so he's healthy for a trade.
No, he tweaked that ankle pretty good the other night.
Who, LaVine?
Yeah, it bent pretty good.
Oh,
He's out 1 to 2 weeks, they say.
sheesh.
But I guess, like you were saying, it's just in time for the trade deadline. So
Yeah, I don't know if they could swing this, actually. I don't know how they could actually swing it. Pacers need to cut $6 million. Huh. Wait, let me zoom in a little bit because I know it kind of sucks on the stream.
yeah, that's better.
Dang, yeah, I don't know where Pacers can dump money. It would have to be like, basically they'd have to give up McConnell and then take back little to nothing, like a Terry Taylor.
Or they could get Andre Drummond. He doesn't make much.
I don't think the Bulls would give up Drummond for nothing. Like,
Yeah.
especially, with his health. Let me see. Yeah, this is a success. So obviously there would be picks, but I don't know. Benedict Mathurin's pretty good. I don't know if how many picks would be involved. The Bulls would definitely get a pick, though.
Kind of seems like a win-win for both teams.
It does. The Bulls need more shooting because Zach LaVine's not playing. Buddy Hield's going to go there. He's going to be unrestricted free agent. He's going to light it up because he needs to get signed next year. He's going to do good, play great. Benedict Mathurin would get locked up long-term by the Bulls, and they would try to build around him. And, if you kind of squint and put him in a Bulls jersey, 6'6" guy like this, he kind of look like Jordan. So, maybe if you squint hard enough, you could see this guy playing in a Bulls jersey.
They found him.
They found Jordan.
They found MJ's real son. It's not Anthony Edwards anymore.
It's not Anthony Edwards. His real son might actually be Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas to the Bulls. Who says no? You would have to dump Simmons, though.
Cam Thomas for Zach LaVine, straight up.
Well, Cam Thomas would have to be there for the contract. But so here, where's Terry Taylor? Oh, he was on the other team. I thought Terry Taylor was on this lineup.
He should be, right?
Right?
No.
He was just in these trades. Where did Terry Taylor go? Oh, he's at the top. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Probably because I just traded him, so it might be just not refreshed yet or something. So it'd be something like this, probably with some picks too. Nets would have to get picks to get LaVine.
Well,
This works.
but you have Ben Simmons.
That's the whole point is Zach LaVine's already dead money on your cap. He's hurt. The team doesn't like him. They play better without him. Then you have Colby White and Cam Thomas, which is not the best backcourt, in my opinion. Because Colby White he's a little bit of an offensive threat. Let's just say that. I don't want to call him a gunner because I don't think anyone should really be considered a gunner. You know why? Because it's the NBA. And if you're saying, all he does is score, that's the hardest thing to do in the NBA.
Kobe White's getting shots up, though.
He has. Colby White's been incredible.
Not afraid to shoot.
He's not afraid to shoot, but he also has had, what is he, top 3 in three-point shooting this year?
He shot the three really well.
The most makes. I think he's got, third most makes in the league.
He's in the running for MIP, too.
Yeah. Yep.
He's up there with Cam Thomas and Jalen Johnson. Points have gone from 9.7 to 18.6 this year.
Huge. Colby White's been incredible. Can you hear my cat crying, screaming bloody murder?
He's dying.
He acts like he's being beat.
What are you doing?
All he's doing is my girlfriend's in the shower and he's outside the bathroom door just meowing. It's like, hey, what are you doing in there? You're taking too much time. Using all the hot water. He's waiting over here.
Sonny's Italian now?
Well, Sonny's Italian, He's Italian. That actually is also a reason why we're a Brooklyn Nets fan. Sonny is he was in his past life an Italian from Brooklyn.
See, he just agreed with you.
See, you heard him, right? He said, yeah.
Yeah. See?
He said, hey, stop talking about me, you jabroni. Don't let anybody know it on the internets.
Over the internet.
Because, you know, he's not from a time like today. He's from before. So the internets, you know, he's like, what is that thing you kids use?
He thinks
What
you're
is using?
he thinks you're talking to yourself right now.
He does. He's like, this guy's crazy right now. I don't get it. He's used to the old way.
Right.
The right way.
Right way. These kids.
These kids. They don't know. Well, who knows? You ever wonder about that stuff? I know it's kind of going off of. Like, if you could be reincarnated,
right?
Like, who are you in your past life?
A tree.
You were a tree, okay.
Tree.
That actually sounds legit because I don't know why, but I believe it. You were a tree in your past life.
Tree in my past life. Let's get on this fast break thing though.
Oh, okay. I wasn't even so sure we were gonna do that, but I'm down. Is this still sharing the screen? Oh no, hold on. I'm still not perfect on this. I don't stream enough. All right, so here we are. We're gonna go to fast break. There it is.
Can you zoom in more, or that's all you can zoom in?
No, I can zoom in more. How's that?
That's better.
So today I have to pick 5 players who will combine for at least 25 assists. Today is really easy, right? But the past couple nights haven't been great for me. So I got 3 wins so far, and it's out of 6. So I'm at 50% win percentage. It's not the best. I wish I was doing better. So the first night I lost was a mess. I'll say this. I messed up only by not filling out my lineup. So 2 nights before, I filled this out, and I did 5 players who combined for 23 pointers made. The Warriors game got canceled because of, RIP, their assistant coach. He had a heart attack, passed away. So they postponed the game. They canceled the game. I had Curry here. And then last second, since Curry was out, Top Shot takes him out of your lineup automatically. And I was going to delete this lineup, but I was working, and then I had tutoring after, and I completely forgot to go back and delete my lineup. I was going to leave this blank for this because I didn't think enough people were going to be able to hit threes, and I didn't want to waste my guys. So now I only have a common Tatum, a common Simons, and a common Lillard. For the rest of fast break, I can't use them anymore. So I was planning on skipping this night, taking an L, but not using any game pieces so it didn't cost me anything. I have a rare LaMelo, so I could use him one more time. But I was never supposed to play this night. I was supposed to delete my lineup, leave it blank. It was too hard. 5 players to hit 23s. And that means you need at least all 5 players had to hit 4 threes minimum, which is way too much. I already knew tonight was going to be too hard. And only 16 people actually did it out of the 1,788 people who played. Oh, no. 25 right here at the bottom. 2,500 played, and only 16 people won. So clearly this was too hard of a challenge. And I knew that from the jump, bro. And I'm like, I want to leave my thing blank. I want to go back and delete everything. And I was talking to my friend Tandy, who's in the Top Shot too. I told him, I said, bro, delete your lineup, leave it blank. I thought I already did it, but I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first loss. Second loss was this. 5 players to combine for 50 rebounds, 25 assists. Now, if you break it down into stats, that means every player needs to get 10 rebounds and 5 assists. That's hard.
That's tough, yeah.
So Bam did his part. 9 rebounds, 6 assists. Perfect. Zion shit the bed.
Yeah, I wouldn't have trusted Zion with that.
But he averages like 5 rebounds and like 3-4 assists. So I thought I would at least get like 5 and 5, maybe 6 and 3, something like that, right? So Zion shit the bed. LaMelo grabbed 1 rebound, 8 assists though, so it helped balance out the other side.
Yeah. LaMelo makes
LeBron played it perfect, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. That's what I needed from everybody. Jokic, great, 12 and 9. Like, everything was cool, but these two. I would accept LaMelo's 8 assists, but the fact that Zion just did nothing, that's who I needed to do good. Zion messed me up that night. So now that was my last use of LaMelo too, because I used him on the 3-point night by an accident.
Mhm.
And so LaMelo's gone. I can't use him the rest of this fast break. Then last night was 9 blocks, 7 steals. So I was like, all right, well, I'll put some bigs out there to get blocks, and then I'll put some wings to get steals. But hopefully, the bigs get a couple steals. Hopefully the wings get a couple blocks. Everything works out. But I got 16 total points, which is what they kind of asked for. 9 blocks, 7 steals adds up to 16 points. But most of my points were all blocks. 6 blocks Wemby, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 3 blocks from Brook, but only 2 steals in total. And then Rudy Gobert, 0 steals, 0 blocks. So that night screwed me over. I have to get an easy win tonight. You see what I'm saying? And especially if you get to 4 wins, that's when you get the initial prize. So I just want to kind of get the initial prize over with. At least I qualify for that. And then the rest of the time, most likely I'm chasing this 9-win pack. There's no way I could win this 13-win pack. It's just, there's not enough time. I already missed 3, which means I'd have to win every single one except 1 the rest of the time, which is hard. So we're going to go with this today. 5 players, at least 25 assists. But we could back out and check out some other players who we could use. So I'm overshooting it by a lot, but like I said, I want to make sure I win tonight. I don't want to lose.
I think Halliburton and Harden are definitely locks.
So Halliburton and Harden are locks. They might get it by themselves.
Yeah,
Halliburton has
that's
12 assists night. Harden has 10, 11 assists night sometimes. They'll get 20 themselves. D'Angelo Russell, this is a good night to use him over LeBron or Anthony Davis for assists because, he still operates and facilitates. Brogdon, with Simons out, I think Brogdon is a good choice for assists. And then Şengün, the offense always plays through him.
Simons is officially out.
Let me see.
I
I
thought
actually
he was
might switch this to Van Fleet.
because
let
he
me
was
see.
questionable. I think Simons was questionable last time I checked.
Questionable. Yeah, still questionable against Lakers.
Yeah.
I don't own a Scoot. Shaedon Sharpe is also out, so that's why I think Brogdon could get some more play and some more assists because, if you got Scoot questionable, if these 3 are out, he's really the only guard left.
Right.
Because you got Grant, Ayton, Reith, Thibault, Kamara, Jabari Walker. There's no other guards. Moses Brown's even out. Rob Williams is out. So Brogdon seems like an easy lock. But if I want, I can maybe do Fred VanVleet.
Yeah, Van Fleet, he passes a lot.
And then I could save Şengün for a rebounds night or something like that.
Yeah. Rebounds and assist night, if it's like that too.
Actually, should I put Cam Thomason for the assists tonight?
What?
I don't
know. I don't think.
I might want to spice it up.
Don't spice it up too much.
All right, not too spicy.
He's averaging 2.3 assists.
Yeah, but if Halliburton gets me 12 and he gets me 8, I don't really need that much.
But Van Fleet's averaging 8.5.
I know, he's averaging 8.5, but I only need to hit 25. So theoretically, you don't want to go over too much and do overkill because then that means another night you won't have Van Fleet.
What about Dinwiddie then?
Dinwiddie over Van Fleet?
Yeah, I mean that's not overkill.
Yeah, but Dinwiddie is on strike.
Oh yeah, I heard that he's on strike. Yep.
That's literally why he's been playing like ass.
Oh man, he's on strike.
He's getting traded and he's upset about where he's landing. That's most likely what it is. Or he's not being traded and they're trading everyone else and he's like, dog, I want to go on a winning team. So regardless, Dinwiddie's upset with the team, so I don't think it's going to be him. Let's see. I want to play a Brooklyn or a Clipper. So like I have Harden because I'm going to be at the game. Like I want to feel like I want to root for something a little extra.
Right. If you don't want to go with Dinwiddie.
Ben Simmons is out. I actually don't own a Dennis Smith Jr. That's why he's black and white.
That's good. He sucks.
I'm doing it.
Oh, my God. Gross.
We're locking in Cam Thomas assists.
Gross.
He had like 4 or 5 against the Lakers while scoring 33.
Let me see.
Don't sleep on the young GOAT.
I'm not sleeping on his scoring ability. I'm saying the passing. I don't know. He had 4 assists against the Lakers.
And that's pretty good.
Yeah. But today he's going to play 5 minutes.
I know, right? Imagine if the game that I go to, he gets benched after scoring 33. But it's all good. Like, this isn't my first time ever seeing Cam Thomas play basketball. So it's like, I've seen him go off. I've seen him, like, in Summer League. That's the only time I've ever seen him play in person. And it was 2 years in a row. And the last time I seen him in person was against the Celtics. And I think that was, like, one of the most kind of fun performances I've seen of him because he had a bad first half but was dropping dimes. He was actually playing. He was guarded by J.D. Davidson. It was in Summer League. It was fun. Like, Mofongo Kabengele was the center, and he was blocking everything at the rim. He was making Cam Thomas do some extra stuff. I think he even blocked Cam Thomas at the rim once. It was a good game. But by the end of it, Cam Thomas got ejected and dropped 25 in a win.
That is quite an attempt.
Because I think he had like 2 points or 0 points in the first half, and then he scored all his points in the second half, and the game was close at halftime. And then eventually the Nets won it out, and they were fouling Cam Thomas with like 40 seconds left. They hacked him. So then he starts talking shit with somebody, and then the refs kicked him out. But they already won, and that's why he was like, that's what he said. He said, y'all quiet now. Y'all were talking shit earlier when I wasn't scoring, but now I dropped 22 on y'all in the fourth or whatever it was. It was a really good game.
Yeah,
that was 24, 25, something like that.
That would have been a great second half.
Yeah. But he had a great second half on the Celtics, and it was just such a fun game. Paul Pierce was there in attendance courtside. He was supporting the Celtics-Nets game. It was funny. He was like there in a bucket hat trying to stay low, but I'm like, there's Paul Pierce. He's right there courtside. It was fire. All right, so I'm doing Harden and Cam Thomas. Harden's protege.
All right.
Hopefully you can start passing like Harden.
Yeah, I mean, that Harden and Halliburton thing, I mean, that's a lock.
Yeah, that's a lock. I feel like Brogdon's a lock today, too, because if everyone's out. And then Russell, especially because LeBron and AD are questionable every game. You never know when they're actually going to take a game off or just kind of not play as hard.
And D'Lo's averaging 6.1 assists on the season.
Yeah.
And he's had 6 or more assists in 4 of his last 5 games. So.
I think he'll make it.
Yeah, you should be able to get that.
And this helps me just kind of not, like, waste another slot. Like I said, I'd rather save Fred VanVleet for another night. Like, this is the night after that. Pick 5 players who combine for 35 free throws and 30 made.
Embiid.
Right? That's like an Embiid type night. They don't let me fill out the rosters just yet, but this is who I got tonight.
Nice.
Out of this. But feels like I might sit him with the bringing back heavy minutes in game 1. Oh, what? Oh, Halliburton, did they just play a back-to-back?
Let me see.
Someone just texted me and was saying they're not playing Halliburton today. I'm really into this fast break thing. Like, a lot of people are as of late. No, Pacers didn't play last week.
No.
They played Trailblazers and lost the other night.
Yeah, they lost by 3. And Siakam's
And the
debut.
Pacers are facing the Sun tonight, and the Sun don't play any defense.
And the Pacers don't play tomorrow, so they're not playing back to back. So
Right. Yeah, so I'm going Hallie tonight.
definitely.
Yeah, definitely going
Yeah.
Hallie tonight.
Take that.
How did he do? Let me see his stat sheet actually.
He had a bunch of assists last game.
He did, so he's still doing his thing with 17 assists.
17
with Siakam.
assists. Yeah,
Holy shit.
ridiculous. He's passing to Siakam now. Like he was getting that many assists with those guys. Now he has a real scorer like Siakam.
And a guy, like we said, runs in transition where Halliburton just hit it ahead.
Exactly.
Love to see it, but we're an hour and a half in, guys. We're out of here. Rich, I'm gonna call you.
All right, bro. Peace.
All right, peace.